everybody. Welcome to your heavy metal horoscopes for this week. This is for the week ending 10/25/2014, 10/25 being the day we're all looking forward to because the Mercury retrograde is finally over this coming up weekend. Thank goodness. I don't know about you guys, but it's been kind of a nightmare for a lot of different people, myself included, and a lot of my clients too. I've definitely heard from quite a few of them. But in any case, lots of different things going on this week. The sun's leaving Libra and moving into Scorpio. So we've got Libra and Scorpio birthdays this week, but we'll get to those in a minute. We're going to get right started with Aries as usual. And unfortunately, Aries with Uranus being in retrograde is in opposition with that Mercury retrograde. So it's definitely going to cause some issues for you guys today. Definitely is proof that two retrogrades don't make a right, if that makes sense. It actually makes things a little bit more difficult. Situations become challenging when advancement in your goals or even education just seems as if it's at its standstill. And that's what this opposition is all about. Things are at a standstill. They're not moving forward. It's very frustrating for you Rams who like to get things going and move things now. There could be other people involved in this standstill, or it's just one of those things where you really can't explain it. There's just, unforeseen forces sort of working against you there. This kind of the feeling of it anyways. And with the Mercury retrograde, you want to talk about miscommunication also, because that's a big part of it. And there's been a lot of that going around the first 2 weeks of the Mercury retrograde. The miscommunications were ridiculous, I'm telling you. So there's going to be an element of that this week too. A couple of things to get you through this week. And the first one is avoid assumptions of any kind, okay? Assumptions are like, everybody's got them. When you make an assumption, you're actually going on something that's not the truth. Go and find out what was really said, or ask the person to explain themselves if maybe they said something that sounds bad, but they didn't necessarily mean it that way. That's going to save you a lot of headaches this week if you choose to do that. By Wednesday, and the moon actually comes in and joins that opposition, and also after that happens for the rest of the week, forms a T-square with Pluto. So Pluto's in the middle again, which is in Capricorn, and all three of these planets are basically not working together, and the moon on Wednesday is a part of that. So it's definitely going to be the peak of this challenging feeling there. When it comes down to it, how you get through this week, avoid assumptions, try not to jump off the handle or go off the deep end or anything like that. Your level of awesome when facing these challenges is going to determine the outcome of these challenges. So you can make them as big or as small as you want to. That's the bottom line with this opposition. So whatever you guys do this week, you have a little bit of challenge, or a couple of things that seem to be taking forever, have a little bit of patience. Don't jump to conclusions. And, take some time, go lay by the pool or go to the beach or something like that and take a rest time if things aren't moving as quickly as you would like them to, Aries. Taurus, those you love make a house a home this week. But unfortunately, there are times when those you love don't seem to get the fact that you'd like to spend some time, or maybe even spend some time talking with them, or just spend some time with them, having fun with them, or doing something with them. And they don't often understand that. And a lot of times with Taurus, you have such a beautiful heart, but it is literally covered up by a very tough exterior. You both can come across as very, very tough. But being ruled by Venus, there's a very loving heart in there. And oftentimes what happens when, you go to somebody and you say, hey, let's go do this. And they go, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm really too busy. I have to do all of these things. What tends to happen is you get kind of stubborn there and don't say anything. And, and it winds up being a big deal for you because you're hurting and the other person's not getting the hint that you're hurting, even if you're projecting out that hint there. So this week, save yourself all of that trouble and go to the person and say, hey, you know what? We don't spend enough time together, and I'd like to have some time with you today. Is there, or this week sometime, can we do lunch? Can we do this? And make it one-on-one time. The other person may not even realize the importance it is to you, or at the same time, they may be so focused on what they're doing, they don't even realize that they need the break to go spend some time with family too. So say what you need to say. Use your words. Come out and tell them. And don't get mad unless they say, no, I don't want to spend any time with you at all, period. Then by all means, get angry about it. But most of the time, that doesn't work. Just let them know you need some time, and then allow them in a non-aggressive way, and allow them to open up their schedule for you. This is actually going to lead to awesome possibilities for you, actually, where you get to spend the time with the people that you love without having to go through the whole being upset and hoping that they get the hint about it. So great week for you guys. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with that this week. Gemini, it's business as usual this week as you handle the demands of your schedule. And this week is also actually an awesome opportunity to check off some things off your list as well. So if you have any projects that you haven't finished up, been kind of stuck there for a minute with them, and you haven't been able to finish them up, or there's just, typical Gemini, you've got so many irons in the fire that some of them are almost ready to be finished up. This is a good week for that, and this is going to create a couple of different things for you. One, you finish things up and it opens up possibilities for new stuff, because you can't get bored, Geminis, right, doing the same thing over and over again. And at the same time, it also helps you to avoid that overwhelmed feeling because you got too much going on. And this week is perfect for that. So if you have any almost finished projects lying around this week, it's a prime opportunity to get them finished up, leaving the next week free for new projects. Because as always with you Geminis, you've always got something new or a new idea or something new that you want to try. Finishing up some of the old stuff helps eliminate over stressing yourself when it comes to all of these different possibilities. It's also important too, if you have one of these weeks where you kind of seem to get bored because your schedule is just mundane a little bit and you've already finished up projects. And it's really, really important to start identifying when that boredom sets in, because when that boredom sets in for you guys, it can be a killer for you, especially what goes on in here. You tend to overthink things, and then you overthink it to a point where you make yourself crazy. When that boredom starts to set in, take that energy and focus it on something, anything other than being here in your head. That's going to help out quite a bit. And it's also going to help you finish up other projects at the same time. So I hope that works out for you guys. Have an awesome week. Cancers. Relationships are the key word for this week for you Cancers. And when it seems like you're dealing with so many different relationships this week, because there is quite a few different types of relationships that seem to be coming up this week, it's important to go with the flow as much as possible, because you're dealing with a lot of different relationships and also a lot of different people. So you want to be able to go with the flow and be kind of open to change and dealing with multiple people at the same, not at the same time, but one right after the other one. Do you find yourself moving from one situation to another very quickly? Now, this is not a bunch of relationship issues. Some of it's a lot of fun, chance to get together and party a little bit, or get together with your friends or your family. But there's also those maybe a few situations that somebody may need help, or the relationship may need help there a little bit. Going with the flow and GBC is great because it helps to eliminate all of these, attachments in the relationship, and it also keeps you in a space where you can be helpful, but not necessarily enabling the person either. It kind of sort of separates you from that. But you do have the opportunity to there's several opportunities actually to have an awesome time with friends and family. Definitely having some fun there, but there may be a couple of little issues there, specifically helping out in relationships where one is having trouble with the other one. It's not you. You're not the one having trouble. It's the people in your circle, your friends, your family. They may be having issues with others. So you may be called upon actually to help out a little bit with that, which you guys are absolutely awesome with. But again, you don't want to take yourself too far with that. Cancers are the nurturers, and they're the definite mother sign of the zodiac. And I know it's really difficult not to be mother to everybody, but at the same time, you want to put some boundaries on that so that you don't spread yourself too thin. Awesome possibilities there for you, Cancers, and I hope you guys have a great week. Leos, Jupiter's trine with Uranus reminds you this week that a positive mindset about money can lead to abundance when necessary. How you think about a situation determines the outcome of the situation, and it works every single time. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking how you're going to be broke and you're going to be broke forever and it's never going to change, then guess what? That's what's going to happen. It's never going to change. Jupiter is still there in your money house, ready to expand the possibilities there. So watch your thoughts, because your thoughts manifest the reality. And also, Jupiter is still in aspect with Mars. It is moving out of that trine with Mars by the end of the week, but at the same time, it's also still trined with Mercury in Libra and in your career zone. So even the Mercury retrograde, again, you can work around that. That Jupiter energy is pushing you forward to expand in possibilities that you haven't even possibly thought of yet. So allow that to happen, and don't worry. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's what it's all about this week. Don't sweat the small stuff, and you realize that really it's all small stuff when it comes down to it. So when old ways of making and manifesting money don't work. That's what Mars and the Mars Jupiter trine was all about for the past few weeks. It's about new ways. It's about new ways of thinking, new ways of doing, new ways of making up these concepts so that they work for you in your life, for sure. So when it comes down to it, talking about mindsets, actually, with when it comes to money, and that Saturn and Jupiter are not working very well together. And Saturn is actually the big humdinger here on this mindset issue, especially when it comes to those you love. So what's going to happen is you get to a point where you have a little bit of money and it seems like you got to be responsible and put it away. And then the mindset turns into, every time I get a little bit ahead, something comes around to gobble it up. Change that mindset around to, it's awesome that it's always here and I always have the money to be able to deal with the emergencies that come up in life. That will actually help keep the door open for the money to come in and not close it. And you don't want to close your money door, okay? That's all bad right there. So you guys still have some beautiful possibilities, even though Jupiter is moving out of the fire grand trine and all of the trines together, and Mars is actually moving out of Sagittarius period and out of the fire signs period. There's still a lot of work for you Leos to do and a lot of possibilities there for you. So make it a great week, guys. Virgo, the moon starts off in your sign this week, and it is creating a little bit of an issue for the first couple of days, starting today, actually, when it is in opposition with Neptune in Pisces. Now, the Moon Neptune opposition can be heavy emotionally. They're both very female and emotional planets, and it really, really, really circles around your money, especially. So when it comes down to it, it may make you feel like these financial issues are very heavy and they're never going to change. The moon moves out of that opposition, and by Monday, even though it's still causing a few issues in your sign, you won't feel quite the heavy weight of the finances. What you will feel on Monday is a heavy weight of being able to move forward when it comes to your dreams and goals. And you may find a few challenges there on Monday. But as it moves out, things kind of sort of settle down. You're really focused on your dreams and goals this week. And whatever you do, when it comes down to it, don't let the small stuff get to you. Again, it's just like in Leo, it's all small stuff when it comes down to it. You know what you're capable of. You know what kind of awesome things you're capable of. You guys are Virgos, for crying out loud. Use it. Use that power. Use what you got and stay out of here when it comes down to it, because here everything falls apart. If you don't think about it and just do it, pretty soon before you know it, you're looking back on everything that you've accomplished and it's beautiful. So stick with that and eliminate the worry as much as possible. That moon opposition there, we're talking 2 out of 7 days. It's nothing compared to what you can achieve for the rest of the week. So whatever you do, make it an awesome week, guys. Happy birthday to all the Libras born this week. This is the last few days of the sun in Libra, and then he's going to move on to Scorpio on Tuesday with Venus hot on his heels. The party in Libra is basically leaving. However, you do still have that Mercury, which everybody is sick and tired of by this time, I'm sure. And it is retrograde. And it will be retrograde until the end of the week. So between Friday and Saturday, it turns direct again. We will have about a week of runoff after that, and then things will actually go back to normal again, or at least as normal as they can be in our world, right? When it comes down to it also, the moon joins this conjunction of planets as it leaves on Tuesday. Now you've got the sun, Venus, and the moon all in conjunction with each other on Tuesday. And this is actually creating beautiful possibilities for your career advancement, and it really helps this Mercury retrograde. So when miscommunications are taking place around you, perfectly fine. Don't feed into that energy, because that's what happens. People get upset. People go a little bit crazy there, and then before you know it, everybody starts to get upset and feel like they're going a little bit of crazy. But you guys are Libras. You don't have to fall in line with that. You can be different and keep the diplomacy, because remember, that's what you guys are really, really good at. Clear communication. Slow down the communication. Make sure that that your point comes across to the person who needs to hear what you have to say. And when it comes down to it, the opposition really isn't that heavy for you guys. After Tuesday, it could seem to kind of sort of move into a position where it seems a little bit boring, but that's okay, because you've gotten a lot taken care of at the beginning of the week. Take the time to enjoy what you've accomplished. You deserve to kind of sort of party yourself every now and then and celebrate yourself every now and then. So take the time to do that in preparation for all the work that you are going to be doing next week. So whatever you guys do this week, make it awesome, Libras. Scorpio, happy birthday to all the Scorpios born this week. The sun is officially in Scorpio on Thursday, joined by Venus and the moon as he first comes in. We're talking big, big, big things. They all basically come into your sign together, and that's actually a beautiful thing. And the moon will actually be in your sign for the rest of the week, and by Saturday, the week ends with 2 different separate planet conjunctions. This is actually beautiful. First of all, we've got a perfect conjunction on Saturday with the sun and Venus. They're literally in the same spot. And Saturn and the moon are conjunct. Now, they're not all 4 conjunct together. They're 2 separate pairs, and they're doing 2 separate things. We're going to start with the Saturn-Moon conjunction there, because Saturn has been sitting there for a while in an uncomfortable aspect with Jupiter, and it seems like you cannot expand your finances right now. And that feeling is actually going to be a little bit difficult. But no, let's bring the Sun-Venus conjunction into it for a little bit, because that gives it a big boost, makes things actually look beautiful, gives you an opportunity to shine in your career. Now, where's the money going to come from? Of course, your career. Focus on that and not so much where the money is coming from, because the more you focus on building your career, the money is going to come as a perk later on. It may not be here this week, and you may want it this week, but it will come eventually. So this is a way of changing your perception from the negative to the positive, and therefore the negative just kind of sort of works itself out. That's how that works, guys. I swear it. I've seen it about 1,000,000 times already. When it comes down to it, you have some beautiful possibilities in your career to build your career. You also have some possibilities to let go of old stuff. Now, the Sun and Venus are still aspected with Mars and with Neptune towards the end of the week. They create this absolutely beautiful placement to help you eliminate these old mindsets, these old patterns, and these old things that are holding you back. So take the time to look at those, identify them, and say, hey, not going there anymore. I am going to leave room for new possibilities, possibilities that are going to make my life exactly what I want it. And now with the sun in your sign, it's your time to shine, Scorpios. So have a beautiful week because you deserve it. Sagittarius, Mars spends his very last week in your sign, but before he leaves you infinite possibilities if you choose to accept them. Actually, on Saturday, he's 29 degrees in Sagittarius, which means he's ready to jump on into Capricorn and see what kind of trouble he can muster up there. But before he does that, he's doing some awesome and beautiful things for you guys. His aspects with the Sun and Venus remain throughout the entire week, allowing you to shine in your career and open up new possibilities for yourself when you let go of old patterns and negative mindsets. Now, that's where Mars really has been this entire time, is all about when it comes to old stuff and dumping the old, leaving a clear way for the new possibilities. So when it comes to your foundation, I mean, there's the tried and true that's always worked, but there's also some things that you've done for years but they haven't been working. So it's time to kind of sort of change those things up a bit. And that's not just what you're physically doing, but it has to do a lot with your mindset also. Again, your thoughts have the power to change your life. So you want to be very, very, very careful about that this week and make sure that your thoughts are transforming your life in a good way, because that's what Mars is trying to tell you this week. Also, the possibility of finding a new love this week in an old relationship or rekindling an old flame is very, very strong this week. So it's giving you the opportunity to fall in love all over again. Now, this may be with somebody else or yourself. Funny concept, huh? But you know what? You should fall in love with yourself every now and then, because that really is what it's about. You are number one in your life after all. So this week is beautiful for that. Whatever you do, the elimination of old patterns and mindsets leaves room for awesome possibilities of growth and transformation for you this week. So it's time to get busy, and whatever you do, make it awesome. Capricorn, Pluto joins a T-square with Mercury and Uranus by Wednesday of this week. But the challenge of this aspect gets a boost on Friday as the Sun-Venus conjunction provides a boost in your career and your confidence at the same time. Think about that. Yes, poor Pluto has been kind of sort of stuck in the middle lately, and being that he moves so slowly, literally spending about 20 to 25 years per sign, it really takes him a while. So unfortunately, he does seem like a sitting duck when it comes to all of the other planets moving around him. But at the same time, this boost in your career is literally gonna make you go places this week, and help you move forward in your hopes and dreams for this week. Your mindset will make or break your progress. That's what it comes down to. Again, lots of mindset for the signs this week, and those thought patterns, especially with Uranus being where he is right now. It's all about changing those old mindsets, and it will make or break your progress. So if you get too stressed out, if you get irritable, chances are your success rate is going to go down a little bit. So you want to be able to control that mindset. Make sure that you're in a positive and uplifting mindset, because that is going to project you forward way more than that negative mindset is going to. So it's really the difference between staying where you are and moving forward, or even going backwards. And nobody wants to do that, right? Nobody wants to go backwards. When you feel yourself even going there, it's time to turn the thoughts around to more positive ones, eliminating the negative self-talk and moving in the direction of awesome possibilities instead. The choice ultimately comes down to you and what you're going to do or what you want to do. You have the chance to project yourself forward and hold yourself back. Either way this week, and the choice is all yours. Do yourself a favor and make an awesome choice instead, because it's going to make the week go a lot more fun for you. Aquarius, when issues from the past seem to keep repeating themselves, it's time to find out why and eliminate the source. Now, I'm not talking about eliminating the sources and the person or the problem that you may be having a problem with. The source is always right here, right? It's internal, it's inside of you, basically. That's the source of the issue. When you have a problem with somebody and it's an old pattern that seems to happen all the time, for instance, a perfect example of that would be, why do I always find these people that screw me over, or something like that? That's a mindset or some sort of internal root that you have to look at. Why do you feel that you're drawing people constantly to screw you over, or drawing the same argument over and over again? So this week is all about identifying that root. And those roots come from childhood, they come from early adulthood, they come from the past. What happened to start this mindset process? And start the process of identifying and pulling that root out so you can eliminate this situation from constantly happening all the time. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. I'm an Aquarian myself, and I'm going to say the same thing because I usually do. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? It's emotional. I might feel something, and I'm going to run. But trust me, the longer you let this root stay in there, the more this situation is going to keep happening to you. And you don't want it to keep happening to you because it keeps consistently slowing you down. Eliminating the root allows you to move forward and actually frees up your schedule for the important things. So do yourself a favor this week. Take some time to identify that root, embrace it. It's your root, and let go of the negative feelings of that root. Because when you let go of the negative feelings of the root of the issue, you start to transform your current reality. So whatever you guys do this week, whether you identify that root or not, make it awesome, irregardless, because you're Aquarians, and that's what you're good at. And finally, Pisces. Neptune's opposition with the moon right at the beginning of the week starts out the week in a not so comfortable position when tight finances seem to feel like you'll never get out of this situation. You know how it is when you're broke and you just feel like you're never going to get out of it? Again, mindset. You want to change that, because that mindset right there is really going to break you and keep you there in that broke feeling. But that opposition only lasts one day as the moon moves on. Neptune has no negative aspects to any other planets for the rest of the week. And it's actually a beautiful week for you guys, aside from that one day. Neptune begins to trine with the sun, and then Venus, and then the moon moves in there for a minute at some point during the week, lining up beautiful possibilities to shine when it comes to your career. Stick with the tried and true, but also add an element of new. For instance, you've got your tried and true ways of dealing with your business, and they've always worked. And then you've got some that you've always done where they always consistently don't work. Eliminate the ones that aren't working. Keep the old values that are working. And when you eliminate the old ones, you make room for new possibilities and new ways of working and thinking. And the combination of these two things this week is really going to work in your favor when it comes to advancing in your career goals. And when it comes right down to it, Mars joins this aspect towards the end of the week. It's all about old patterns and old mindsets. So he gives you that boost of energy to eliminate that stuff and make room for awesome possibilities and awesome new ways of doing things. The ability to mix both the old and the new is going to bring you the success that you need this week. So I hope you guys have an awesome week. Thank you for listening. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget to check out our website, fairymothersdream.webs.com. We've got the 13 card tarot for 2015. Now we are 2 weeks into the second month of this reading being available, and it's only available for 4 months. Midnight Pacific time, December 31st, is your last chance, last minute to order this reading, and then it's gone until next year. They've done several of them so far. They have been absolutely fantastic, and they keep getting better and better. You'll be able to identify some of the challenges that you're going to go through next year and get some advice on how to navigate those challenges to make it as easy as possible for you. And of course, we've got classes. We're still doing classes, and you can find everything in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Grateful Fairy Wings. I hope you guys have a beautiful week, and whatever you do, keep it metal, guys. See you later.